on the far-flung planet of Xylos, where twin suns bathed the landscape in a perpetual twilight glow, lived a peculiar species known as the glimmerwhelps. These creatures were small, no bigger than a house cat, with large, luminous eyes that shimmered with curiosity. Their fur was a soft, downy silver that seemed to capture the starlight, and from their heads sprouted two long, feathery antennae that twitched and danced, sensing the world around them. In a small burrow nestled at the base of a giant, pulsating crystal tree, lived two young glimmerwhelps, Pip and Squeak. Pip was the bolder of the two, his antennae always pointing forward, eager for adventure. Squeak was more cautious, her antennae often curling shyly around her ears, but her heart was just as big as her brother's. Their days were usually spent chasing floating spores, digging for shimmering pebbles, and listening to the elder glimmerwhelps' tales of the great beyond. One evening, as the violet sky deepened, their grandfather, an old glimmerwhelp, whose fur was now a distinguished shade of gray, gathered them close. He spoke of a legend, a story passed down through generations, about a treasure hidden somewhere on Xylos. It wasn't made of jewels or precious metals, but of something far more magical, the sweet golden treasure. The legend said it was a liquid gold that tasted of 1,000 sun blossoms and held the warmth of a star's core. It was said to bring immense joy and energy to any who tasted it. Pip's eyes grew wide, sparkling with excitement. A real treasure, Grandpa? Liquid gold? Squeak huddled closer, her antennae twitching with a mix of fear and fascination. But where is it? Has anyone ever found it? Their grandfather chuckled, a low, rumbling sound. The legends say it's guarded by strange flying creatures in a place where the world buzzes with life. No glimmerwhelp has dared to venture there in many lifetimes. It is said to be too dangerous. That night, Pip couldn't sleep. The thought of the sweet golden treasure consumed him. He nudged Squeak, who was curled in a tight ball. Squeak, let's go find it. Imagine, the first glimmerwhelps in generations to taste liquid gold. Squeak hesitated. But Grandpa said it was dangerous. Adventures are always a little dangerous, Pip insisted. We'll be careful. And we'll be heroes. His enthusiasm was contagious. Squeak slowly uncurled, her own sense of adventure sparked. With a shared, determined nod, they decided. At the first light of the twin suns, they would begin their quest. They packed a small pouch with juicy glowberries and a map their grandfather had once sketched from memory, a faint and tattered drawing of Xylos's forbidden zones. Following the map's winding lines, they journeyed past the whispering grass fields and across the chattering pebble streams. The landscape changed, growing wilder and more unfamiliar. Giant, multicolored fungi pulsed with gentle light, and strange, six-legged critters skittered away as they approached. After a long trek, they arrived at the edge of a vast meadow, unlike anything they had ever seen. It was filled with tall stalks topped with vibrant, sun-colored flowers, and the air. It was filled with a constant low hum, a buzzing sound. This must be the place, Squeak whispered, her antennae vibrating with the sound. As they crept closer, they saw them. The flying creatures from the legend. They were small, with fuzzy black and yellow stripes and delicate, transparent wings that beat so fast they were almost a blur. They buzzed from flower to flower, seemingly busy and organized. They don't look so scary, Pip observed, peeking from behind a large leaf. Suddenly, a loud buzzing sound filled the air right beside them. A single striped creature hovered before them, its tiny legs covered in yellow dust. Pip and Squeak froze, expecting an attack. But the creature simply tilted its head, as if curious, then buzzed away to join its companions. Feeling a bit braver, they ventured into the meadow. They watched as the creatures gathered something from the flowers and flew back towards a peculiar structure hanging from the branch of a colossal tree. It was a giant, waxy nest, intricately built with thousands of hexagonal cells. And from it, a thick golden liquid was slowly dripping onto a leaf below. Look! Pip pointed with a trembling paw. The sweet golden treasure! It was even more beautiful than they had imagined. It glowed with a warm, inviting light, and its scent was intoxicatingly sweet. They watched as the striped creatures ignored the drip, continuing their work. Carefully, Pip and Squeak crept towards the tree. Pip reached out and dipped a tiny claw into the golden drop. He brought it to his mouth. An explosion of flavor burst on his tongue. It was sweet, floral, and wonderfully warm. It was like tasting sunshine and happiness all at once. Squeak, you have to try this. he exclaimed, his whole body wiggling with delight. Squeak, seeing her brother's pure joy, nervously dipped her own claw in. Her eyes lit up just as his had. It was the most delicious thing she had ever tasted. For a few moments they forgot everything, happily lapping up the small golden puddle. As they enjoyed their treat, they noticed the striped creatures were working tirelessly, building their home and collecting nectar. They weren't fearsome guards. They were industrious workers. They were a community, a family, all working together. And the treasure they created wasn't just for hoarding. It was the food that sustained their entire colony. A new understanding dawned on Pip and Squeak. The treasure wasn't something to be stolen or taken. It was something to be respected. They had tasted the legendary liquid, and that was enough. They decided to leave the rest for its rightful owners. But before they left, Pip had an idea. He took one of the glowberries from their pouch and placed it near the base of the tree, a small gift of thanks. Their journey home felt different. They weren't just adventurers returning from a quest. They were explorers who had learned a valuable lesson. They had discovered that the guards of the legend were simply busy creatures living their lives, and the treasure was the fruit of their hard work. When they returned to their burrow, their grandfather was waiting, his wise eyes twinkling. "So," he said, a knowing smile on his face, "did you find the sweet golden treasure?" Pip and Squeak looked at each other, then back at their grandfather. "We did," Squeak said softly. "But it wasn't ours to take," Pip nodded in agreement. "It belongs to the buzzing bees, Grandpa. It's their food, their home. We only took a little taste." Their grandfather pulled them into a warm hug. "I am very proud of you both," he rumbled. "You have learned the true secret of the legend. The greatest treasures are not the ones we take, but the ones we learn to appreciate and respect." From that day on, Pip and Squeak had a new favorite story to tell. It was the story of their journey, of the industrious bees, and of the sweet, golden honey. They had found the treasure, but more importantly, they had found wisdom. And they knew that the universe was full of wonders, not just for the taking, but for the watching, the learning, and the respecting. Their little corner of Xylos felt bigger and more magical than ever before. Thanks for watching our story today. If you enjoyed the adventures of Pip and Squeak, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more amazing tales from across the galaxy. See you next time.